Hello again. I'm Dr. Stephen Davidson, the Sexual Integrity Coach, coming to you today from Wilton Manors, Florida. Welcome to another episode of Adult Sex Education. A viewer recently messaged me and asked if it was possible to be addicted to masturbation. I'm going to get to the answer to that question, but first let me thank those of you who subscribe to this channel. When you subscribe or just simply like a video, it helps me to reach more people. So let's dive into the subject of masturbation and if it's possible to be addicted to it. On previous videos, I discussed the fact that sex addiction is a very popular pseudo-diagnosis and lots of people identify as sex addicts. But in fact, the disorder isn't recognized by the World Health Organization, the American Psychiatric Association, or the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. We look to the World Health Organization and the APA for guidance on both sexual and addictive disorders, and sex addiction doesn't show up in either category. Still, there are those proponents of sex addiction, pornography addiction, love addiction, and masturbation addiction. So while one can't officially be addicted to masturbation, you will find wives, preachers, moms, and even some therapists who believe masturbation is an addiction. In the 12-step program of Sexaholics Anonymous, masturbation is one indicator of relapse. If you jerk off, you have to start counting recovery days all over again. This is the same program that also wants you to achieve progressive victory over lust, so that eventually you don't even think about sex, or sexahol as they call it. I personally believe that the term addiction is tossed around too casually, and that this undermines the seriousness of real addictions like addiction to drugs and alcohol. It seems some people consider an addiction to be anything that you enjoyed more than once. However, if you have asked this question, then you or someone close to you must have concerns about how frequently you masturbate or even the fact that you masturbate at all. Masturbation is a normal and safe means of erotic stimulation. Some people masturbate in addition to sex with others, and some people masturbate because they either don't want sex with others or they don't have access to a regular partner. We know that men masturbate more than women, and generally people masturbate more frequently early in life than later. The primary reason that we masturbate is because it's pleasurable. It satisfies our erotic appetite. Men more than women report that they masturbate when they are bored. This is one of the criteria that some people use for labeling someone as a masturbation addict. There's not a universal scientific metric for measuring whether one is masturbating too much. You have to determine that for yourself. If it's so frequently that you can't accomplish anything else, like work, school, time with friends and family, then it's obviously too much. If it's to the point that it's causing blisters, chafing, or other injury, then you might want to back off and pace yourself. Masturbation, sometimes referred to as solo sex, self-pleasuring, or your me time, has some benefits over sex with a partner. It's all about you. At your pace, no judgment or criticism from someone else. No one else in the room that you have to accommodate. It's pleasure just for the sake of pleasure. You don't have to call it intimacy or making love. It doesn't have to mean anything, and there are no strings attached. You know your own body better than anyone else, so it's generally easier to reach climax faster if speed is part of the process. Some men like to edge, prolonging the experience and delaying ejaculation. They find this to be meditative and trance-like, and this is another criteria used to label people, mostly men, as masturbation addicts. Masturbation usually begins in childhood around the time of puberty. It can, however, start earlier, as our genitals are wired for pleasurable sensitivity from the very beginning of life. Some of my adult clients recall masturbating as early as age 4 or 5. They weren't aware of sexual concepts then, but they discovered that it felt pleasurable to touch themselves. Masturbation is one of the safest and easiest forms of erotic pleasure up to and including orgasm. For some of you, it might even be your favorite hobby. I'm Dr. Stephen Davidson, the Sexual Integrity Coach. I hope you will like this video or subscribe to my channel. I also encourage you to check out copies of my books, Sexual Integrity, Finding the Courage to Be Yourself, as well as Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life, the Guidebook to Happiness. You can get access to both of these books on my website at sexualintegritycoach.com.